Let's start our journey to file uploading with a simple example. Imagine a form, in this case it's Laravel Breeze registration form, but it could be any Laravel form, and it has an input of a file. How to store the file from request, what are the customizable options, where the file lands in the file system, what happens to the database, all of that practically in this lesson. So in the form I have input, and in the controller for that input, this is our code. We create the user for registration, and then if request has file of avatar, which is input name from register blade, we just have input file name avatar. So in the controller, if we have a file, and by the way there is a difference, request has is for any field, and request has file is specifically if there is a file uploaded. Then we store that file, request file key store to path. And then that result will be assigned to the avatar field in the database. Let's see how it works and what is the result. So for example, I store any file. I use fake filler Chrome extension to quickly fill in the form details. I register, and let's see what's inside of database and file system. In the database, we have a new user with field name avatar as avatars/long file name .png with the same extension. In the file system, we have storage app avatars, and that file lands in here in the folder. Now, what if you don't want that long random file name? What if you want, for example, user ID as file name? For that, you should use store as. Let's close the sidebar and change that store as, and second parameter should be file name, and file name could be user ID .png, like this. Let's try again. Let's register another user, but with the same file, with screenshot, register, success, and database refresh. We have avatars12.png, which is the ID of the user, and in the file system we have 12.png. But of course we cannot be sure that it is .png, so we need to have an extension. An extension, among other data, could be found from the file name, from the file object. Let's have request file as a variable, extract that to variable as file, and then we have file store as, and then extension would be file, and there are a lot of functions to get some data from the file. For example, extension, and then instead of that .png we have .extension, and the result should be the same, but let's test it. Another form, same screenshot, it should be 13.png if I'm correct. So yeah, we have 13.png and refresh 13.png. So nothing changed, but our extension is coming from the original file. Now, what if you do want to save that original file name with extension instead of user ID? You can do that by changing the extension to file get client original name is the function, and then you have not the extension but file name, and then you can assign that avatar to file name, because probably you don't want that avatar slash to be in the database, and then move that to up, and instead of user ID extension you have file name as original file name. Something like this. Let's test it out. Register again with the same screenshot, same file name, and let's see what we have. We have the original screenshot, and then in the database we have the original screenshot without avatars in the beginning. But that behavior may lead into a problem if the file names are the same from different users. So let's have a folder for each of the files, and it is convenient not only just for folder structure, but also inside of that folder each file may have more files like thumbnails or copy of the files or original file names, something like that. So it's easy to customize. If you put store as avatars slash whatever, it will automatically create a folder. Avatars, user ID, and then the file name. Only simple change, but probably more flexible behavior. Register again with the same file name, register, and let's see what we have. We have a folder called 15 with 15 ID, and in the database we have the same 15 user, same file name, but it is in a different folder, so it wouldn't clash with other users' files. So that's it for this starting lesson. Simple ways how you can manipulate request files and file names and extensions and folders to store file from the request.